everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. It's Cindy. I am here today with a flip through of another of the Curiosa journal series collection. This is The Strange and Wonderful. It is 196 pages, has a lot of ephemera, 9 signatures. It is 6.25 by 9.5 with a 3-inch spine, and the book is from 1947. If you're new to this collection, there are 10 of these books that I made from a series of books that I got in an auction. They're a law collection from Ontario. All of them say, well, most of them I think say Ontario Weekly Notes. This one, 1947. And they're beautifully made, thick books. They have lovely jute binding ribs on the spine, and they are all done with sculptural collage on the front. Each one is unique. There are under 10 sort of repeating pieces of ephemera that might be in the books from a digital collection, but like I tried to not do a whole lot that was the same. So each book is very, very unique. On the spine of each of these, I have tied one of the woodcuts from this fun series by Pork Chop Show on Etsy. He does woodcuts of all different themes, all sorts of different things. He's a very cool wood artist. And on the cover of this one, I've added this vintage cabinet card from Janesville, Minnesota. And this is vintage book spine, and it says The Strange and Wonderful, and it's all been sealed there. This is an antique radio knob, 2 actual silver forks that I got at an antique store. One is a pickle fork and one is a dessert fork, and they're just fun, and they're wired into the book. This is a piece of driftwood that I found, and a little piece of chipboard with some counting on it. The closure is with a metal eyelet in the front and back of the book, and vintage seam binding in this chestnut brown color. So when you open up the books, you will find the same kind of setup when you get into them in each of the books, in that there is Tim Holtz paper that is on the backings. I've done a tuck spot with an authentic antique cabinet card. This one is of this lovely family here from Stratford. And I've put a vintage document inside each of these. This is a Guelph Daily Mercury invoice from November of 1935. And you can journal on the back of those if you like. Another theme you'll see throughout the books will be these little kind of curiosity type pockets. I'm thinking about those library cabinet drawers, something you would see in a collection. So I've labeled these ones with little book page snippets. So this one says a little sage, and here a nail, there a nail. The top journal card is of these 2 curious guys. And then in this pocket we have a journal card that I did from a stamp of all of these mushrooms. And that just tucks in there. This is also Tim Holtz paper, and there is a tab on here that says time log. This is a spider on some vellum, and it's stitched to the paper so it flips up and covers these 2 mixed media gilded pockets with my handmade labels on them, or hand-drawn. This image is a little journal card from Banana Fana Design on Etsy from her Strangeness series 1. And then this is from a magazine. It's a floral image. I made a little journal card. And this is like a dark little book, little writing kind of journal card. It says, on the night before the day of execution, she was brought over in a chaise from Ayr between 2 town officers and placed again in our hands, and still she never spoke. So like a bit of Curiosa. There's some dark kind of mysterious themes going on in these books. Some vintage graph paper. A little pocket here with a bird. And it's on, you'll see lots of Albertus Siva, the Cabinet of Curiosities book pages. I use that as kind of like, you know, a non-digital kind of kit, like it's from a real book, throughout this whole series to get these incredible illustrations of all different flora and fauna and such. So this one is really cool snakes, and this is a journal tag that I made from some plastic and metallic packaging. It says Puzzling Findings, and it has the Cabinet of Curiosa paper in the background, a Tim Holtz doll kind of holding on to this big finding. So that is a journal tag. More of the snakes here. This little pocket and the background paper are from Gold Quixote on Etsy. She has a curiosity collection, a cabinet of curiosities. This is a journal card made from a vintage Reader's Digest book. It's the book plate, and I covered it with this black background, added an owl, and a little snippet from one of the books they were advertising inside called The Magic Forest. A modern fairy tale, illustrated. The sympathetic way in which the children of the wild and their life is treated could only be to one who is in love with the forest and open air, based on fact. And then this is an inked up backing. I tried to ink up most of the backings for these books and make them kind of look like they were in an old attic or something. They're fun. And then these doll pages that are bound with fabric to kind of extend them outward. They're all from a boiled book pot. So botanicals, boiled doll, antique doll book. And then I painted with gray paint over all the text to give more writing space. Here I just inked in the shape of 3 little moons. This paper is from my Bejeweled Eyes collection on Etsy. I stamped some mushrooms here. Another boiled book page of dolls and that fun backing. This is a trade card from a person who worked in the sales of memorial goods, things such as funeral cards, and this is an example of one. Thy Will Be Done, and it has Lily of the Valley here. It opens for writing space, and it also is used as a tuck spot to hold onto this journal card that I made. These images are from Miles Beyond the Moon. It's one of her cabinet cards, and this is a fun embossed gold, just vintage embossing that I found at a thrift store. This pocket, we have a few little insects here on a snake, and this is a fun journal card that I made. It says Works of Antiquities and Magical Properties, and there's like a fun background of like found objects, and I added a Tim Holtz doll and added some crackle paste on top, so hopefully you can see the crackle going on. More Cabinet of Curiosities pages and graph paper. This has 2 of the pockets. This one has a hole that I punched, and they're both the gilded mixed media. In this top one, there are a couple of fun stamps from Deutsche Bundepost. And then in here we have a vintage photograph of 3 men and their horses. These are my hand-drawn labels. This is an old pocket vellum envelope, and inside we have this journal card of this curious deer in a nest in the woods. That just folds down. The backing paper is a Tim Holtz paper. This image on this coin envelope is of the quagga. This is an extinct animal that looked sort of like a cross between a horse and a zebra. And up here, this flips up, and you see here there is this skeleton. It's a little pocket with a tag with these witches. And then at the bottom here we have the coin envelope. I've cut a little thumb hole so that you can reach on in and pull out this journal card. She has no reflection. That pops back in there. And then this says, this book shall be a register and record to future times. And I've done some stamping of the word Curiosa. This is cabbage dyed paper. So this tips out. We have some birds in here, Kentucky warblers. Another of the Cabinet of Curiosity books here. This says the Stargazers on this field guide of birds. And then this journal card here. Here she has a reflection, but it doesn't match her actual reflection. This is from an old blackwork book of really cool illustrations. These are like cherubs and trees. And then another fun piece of art from an art book, kind of like some real curious little creatures. Like, look at this little guy. He looks quite unhappy, right? And there's like a guy with a witch hat down here. There's all sorts going on. It's from a surrealism art book. Then we have an airmail envelope, and in there we have this guy who's This is a photographer who does really fun micro photography scenes. So he covers this person's face all in moss, and there's little tiny lambs grazing there. This is some 1800s AP gold legal ledger from an actual ledger book with it's a real ledger book. This is another of the boiled book pages of dolls. I absolutely love the veining on this one. It's really fun. Stamp collectors paper. These are some of my carbonized leaves. These are tulip tree leaves on watercolor paper. This is a flip of image of the Venus in the center here. This is Aphrodite at the top. So that just flips down, so you've got journaling space here on both sides as well. And more of the leaves, then more stamp collector paper and boiled book with fun rose petals there. Really grungy and fun. More AP Gold Ledger. Then in the other side of that envelope, this is an embossed journal card that I made. These look like silverware. I did it on metallic deli paper. Here we have this man hanging from his foot. This is from an art book, and it's a belly band on the Curiosa paper with seashells back there, and this journal card is inside. And over here we have a pocket that says Alchemy. That's from an old Alchemy Man and Myth magazine from the 70s. And this is like a large journal card with a fun window from some kind of a box that I had. Birds inside. Now this rusty bulldog clip is holding on to a resin paper that was collaged on some fun paper, brown paper bag. So this is a collage. The whole thing, you see, it's shiny. It's all under resin, and it's on this fun scrapbook paper of like lace and a sewing label. So the rusty bulldog clip up here will hold that on. Some stamping here. This is a vellum graph paper. These are these little people here in this old sort of photo frame, a little tuck spot on the cabinet of curiosity paper. And this is like an image from an old science book of this man who's doing some kind of curious science and looking a little worried about his experiment. More Curiosa papers from the book, Cabinet of Curiosities. Very fun, lots of butterflies. This is a folding big kind of stationary journal card of this stone sculpture I really loved. And that just clips on here with a rusted paper clip. Little 49 in Market fun paper, just for a center there. And more of the butterflies. And a snake, and we have this is like a jellyfish from Ernst Haeckel. Some stamps here on the vellum graph paper, both sides, all bird and butterfly type stamps. Then a nice inked up page here. On this side, this is the paper underneath, and the rusty paper clip is holding another resin paper, so you see how it's shiny, it's collaged. This is an old insurance envelope, and inside we have this tag of these hummingbirds, journaling tag. Some vintage masking tape on the back. Then on this page, so you see this little bit here, so this is from a book called Curiosa that was made by an artist and collector who has like a pretty impressive group of friends who have access to like celebrities and different, you know, renowned people, and they collect little bits and bobs from them and send them to this person, and they curate them into a collection of little things in specimen jars. So this is a cutting from the emergency parachute of Dutch Nazel, the first paratrooper to land in Normandy, France, June 6, 1944. Maybe Nagel? Dutch Nagel? Not sure. And then some crabs here. This image is from Gold Quixote on Etsy. She has a curiosity collection. This is some insects from the Curiosa book, the Cabinet of Curiosities. And then this tag here is from Calico Collage. It's a nice little tuck spot. This is like a Western Union. This was digital, but I thought it was really fun. And I forget where it comes from, but it's a fun little Western Union thing that I grunged up. More of the Cabinet of Curiosities. This little tag here is from Gold Quixote, and it's on this fun waffly packaging paper. This is an authentic photograph, an old photograph of this lady. I'm not sure who she is, but she is from Kitchener, Ontario. And it's probably from about like the 1910s. Based on the collection that I purchased. And another of the Cabinet of Curiosity pages, a couple of them here. Another of this waffly packaging paper, which you can glue things onto. And more Cabinet of Curiosity paper. This is a pearlized inked background for that Gold Quixote page. This scary girl with her scary doll. Another of the little Curiosa collection diskette from Gene Kelly's computer. And this one is a snip of Elvis Presley's pillowcase used while on world tour. And we have more of the Curiosa pages. This is a medical illustration of the pathways in your veins, and it's inside that insurance envelopes, miscellaneous valuable papers. This image is from G&T Art on Etsy, and it's like a bird girl, and I cut it in to be like a tuck spot with some vintage spine there. And inside we have this, the Angel of Peace in Loving Remembrance. It's like a death card. It's like a little journal card in there on this fun scrapbook paper. This is Coffee Dyed Gray's Anatomy paper. We have a vellum Rest in Peace belly band here, and inside, this is an old ad from like a weird magazine. This time we made a car for men, and it's got this like weird space age car, and she's got the most space age bra thing on, and like her outfit is just, it's very cool. And then this is like a graphite stationery paper, another of the boiled book dolls, and more of the Cabinet of Curiosa illustrations. This is a piece of stationery I made, and I've clipped it over this Cabinet of Curiosa page. This is from an old art book, and it was about the first male midwife and how they were, you know, trying to depict him in a way, you know, that would have society kind of accept men going into midwifery. I guess after like women were doing it, and then, you know, because there was a time when like men just controlled medicine anyhow, but then women came along with midwifery, and then they tried to introduce men into midwifery. And so yeah, this is another of the boiled book pages, more of the graphite paper, another of G&T Art's bird girl images. This is like a tuck spot. For this, I have I think 2 of these, and I've used them in this collection. So this is a postcard, and it's from 1963. And so the name of this town, I believe, is the real name of the town. It's this big, long name. It's somewhere in Europe, I think. And I think it's like the world's longest name of a town. And I wanted to kind of fit it into the collection to make it kind of Curiosa, not just like a postcard. So I added these creatures here from Gold Quixote's Curiosa collection. And yeah, it's fun. This belly band is made from the Curiosa book of those samples. So it says like hairnet made from human hair, lid from hair growth formula. So these are all different things. These ones are about hair. And then there's this journal card of birds from the Curiosity book, and behind it is the Coffee Dyed Gray's Anatomy book. This is some fun scrapbook paper, and I made the little Curiosity kind of pockets from Vintage Waterworks cards from the board game Waterworks. This tag has irises on it, and it is from the paper Cameo on Etsy. And then these are just some creepy little creatures that I found. I can't recall from where. Then we have this vellum tuck spot here, has a spider on it, and it's on top of 49 in Market paper. That's really pretty. They're both very specimen-ish. And then in here we have this vintage medical illustration of basically the effects of corseting on a woman, and she does not look very happy. They're depicting the corset as like these little demon creatures. Not wrong, not wrong. There's a bit of medical stuff in here that's fun. So this actually wraps around to be like a belly band on this side. And then these were little plastic like pillboxes, and I turned them into journal cards. And so there's this fun dragonfly inside. It says out in the night, and I made like a background, but it still has the opening there. So I put this creepy gal, this tag in here for more writing space, and then that just tucks on in here. An account of the dreadful apparition. That's a little tuck spot on this fun photography page. This is from a photographer's sketchbook or journal. And then this journal card is made from the Cabinet of Curiosities book. It's like pieces of like driftwood and things. And then we have, this was about the plague. So see, these are people sleeping and there's rats hanging about. And then more of the photography of people back here. And this is a journal card essentially about like the body, life and death. It's from a medical book. And then some carbonized leaves on rust paper. These are some maple leaves. Another of the Cabinet of Curiosities pages. This little tuck spot says Dorothy liked anything spooky. And then this is Wolcott's Pain Annihilator. It's an old ad, and it depicts the pain as all these little demons here. And then this is a system of practical penmanship. It's like an old like book cover. And then over here we have a tuck spot with these girls. And I made this little tea card. It says, around the toadstool once or twice. Another Cabinet of Curiosities page, and more carbonized maple leaves. More of the photographer of all these people. And then on this side, a couple things going on. So let me take all the ephemera out. So more of the photography. And then this is actually like a fishbowl full of doll heads, and I've added vellum at the front to make it a pocket. So at the back of the pocket, this is from a book about collecting, and this is like a little collection of things. So that tucks into here. And then this is one of my giant tags from my giant tags collection, and that tucks in here. Then this Cabinet of Curiosities, you'll see these throughout almost all the books, I think. This is like the one thing that's the same in all the books, but like even then inside is different. So inside here I've created these shelves with this boiled book paper, and then there's like little bits and bobs inside. So like little journaling cards, owls, little stickers, little photographs, things you can use in the book, or you can leave them in here. It's completely up to you, but it's a little curiosity cabinet. It's got a little plague doctor mask at the bottom, and it ties up with metal little mini eyelets, and this one has my own hand-dyed bamboo yarn here that will stay sleek and not tangle when you're tying it up. It's easy to tie, so it just ties closed like so. There's that plague doctor mask. 49 in Market paper. One of my little watercolor toads from my Etsy collection. This is from a medical and like health and lifestyle encyclopedia for young adults from the 1960s. This chapter was about understanding people's reactions. So this is about gluttony. The mouth can hardly wait for the first taste. And for some strange reason, they had a whole like set of either 4 or 8, I think it may have only been 4 pictures about how to recognize emotions. And the subject matter they used was this sausage. Like, I don't know what it is, if it's a British thing, because, you know, there are lots of sausages eaten in Britain. But yeah, it was the weirdest thing. Then we have some possums and birds and an owl pocket over here that has another of those vintage documents inside. So this one is a large document from Moss Garage from 1935, and that just tucks down into our owl friend here. Is it in there? Yeah, almost. There we go. Another large carbonized leaf. And then another page of the Cabinet of Curiosities. This is a pocket made from Field Guide of Birds, Cabinet of Curiosities beside it. And then this is an envelope from a botanical book, big, beautiful botanical images. And inside we have another of the giant tags. And that just goes here. Sorry, giant tickets. And that goes there. And this is an image from Gold Quixote on Etsy. I stained the back paper. These are 2 cork pockets with paper corners. This bottom one has a florist label from Tim Holtz. This top one has this little party of ravens here. I think this might be from Miles Beyond the Moon, but don't quote me. I think it is, though. And then this image is from an art book of surrealism. We have the Leaning Tower of Pisa resting on this big black feather. More cork pockets. This has one of my laminated leaves. And this one has this Gold Quixote journal card. Another coffee stained paper. I think that this material I made the pocket out of is one of those, like, you know, those automatic tests that you do the little dots. I think that's what that's from. That's Gold Quixote paper. This tag is like a Cabinet of Curiosities with a bunch of specimen jars. Then we have some geodes and a beetle there. That's from the Junk Journal Studio. More of my carbonized leaves and Curiosa paper. And then we have this owl journal card. And that goes in here. This envelope. And over here, a little Gold Quixote round image. And then we have this little upside down kind of drapery frame on some, what's it called? Grey's Anatomy paper. And then we have a little Guelph Daily Mercury 1935 invoice. It's an authentic invoice. Just tucks in there. And then this upper tuck spot, very surreal. And then this is a tag of snakes made from the Cabinet of Curiosities book. It's on Grey's Anatomy paper. Some carbonized leaves. A little collage pocket on a fun insect scrapbook paper with this tag inside. Very surrealist. Fun stained pearlized paper. This is from an art surrealism book, and it's really cool. So the image is like a painting of a woman. One moment. And that's like the head, and then this is draped on a chair, and that's like the robe or the dress. And inside here we have the rest of that art book image background, and these are both tuck spots. So this is a journal card that I made from images from Miles Beyond the Moon. And this word snippet says, "Not expecting the effect it would have, answered me that their offer could not be," and it just cuts off. Like there's a story happening there, but like it's not all there. And there's a poison label at the bottom. And then this tag is another of those jars of strange specimens. And then the other side of that art image is the man, and he's got his painting on an easel, and his clothes are draped over the front of the easel. And then we have another pearlized inked page, scrapbook paper with insects. This is one of my little laminated pockets here, and it has a graphics fairy image, and I laminated a little flower inside, and then this kind of spooky guy is a journal card inside, and I forget what book he's from, but he looks kind of scary just peeking out behind that flower. More of the carbonized leaves, this journal pocket and a little poison label there, more of the kind of cabinet of Curiosa tags, and more Grey's Anatomy, some bones back there, some hand bones. In each of these journals there is one of these specimen pages that I made from the plastic from coin envelopes. These are all leaves that are native and local to North America, and native were common in North America. They're all sealed so nothing can get out. I've pressed and dried them all myself. There's some oats in this one, marigold, ginkgo, just different little things. And another of the cabinet of Curiosa pages. I love this image of like these cool wings. It's such a cool illustration. This is metal. So this is from a book called Lost Objects, and it's about an archaeologist who like collects things, and he has done a photography book. So this is like a rusty old tractor with a guy on it. This is a death card, a funeral card, journal card. It's a digital. This is an authentic photograph with trees on it. It's part of a whole series of strange like old photos that I got from like the 70s and 80s that I don't really know what I can do with them, because they're all weird things like people at a party or stuff like that. So I've decided I'm going to collage on them. So I added these creepy folks to this tree scene. And then this is another of the cabinet of Curiosity pages. Another image from G&T's Arts Bird Collection on some fun Tim Holtz paper. This is an image from the Cabinet of Curiosities as well. It's all shells making up a cool picture, and it's double-sided. It's like a card. And this is, I think this is from Tim Holtz. It's M.J. Whitcomb, licensed embalmer, Vermont's largest country furniture store. And then a tag made from the Cabinet of Curiosities book. More of the paper from that same book. And then the wood page, I've stitched on some fabric and used a vintage photo of a lady standing in front of a waterfall from that same old photography collection. You can see some wood back here, and this is Dee's new patent for modesty machine for fitting the ladies. So it's like an old ad for like a shoe, like a man who needs to fit women's shoes, but there's like this hole that she puts her foot through so he can't see her because it's all about modesty. Like, how weird. And then these cool bugs from the Curiosity cabinet book, and then the other side of the sample book. So see all those fun helicopters, a little maple leaf, little flower petals. And then this back page is also Tim Holtz, and you'll see here my stamp and seal, and I just need to sign this one. Apparently I forgot to sign this one. I always add my signature right below my seal, as so, and I put the year that I created the book, and added some threads into the wax there. It's very fun. So that is The Strange and Wonderful, and I thank you so much for hanging out with me for this long run of this book, because I know it's a long journal. So you will see details on social media shortly of when these books will be in my Etsy shop. The best place to follow me is on Etsy to see when my books are posted. If you're on my Patreon, you will have first access to these books. And if you haven't yet subscribed here, please do. I would love to have you here. Thank you so much, and bye for now.